Hey. Time for another Out of This World story from rSpace. Part 5 is here, and it's not holding back. Today on rSpace, the plot thickens. Let's get into it, shall we? I discovered my wife, 20 female of 7 years, is cheating on me, 30 male. She doesn't know that I know. Update 8. Bev, credit card, records, and infidelity dodgeball. It's been a tough 3 days. Jim and Bob are here with me at the Airbnb. They've been hiding all the knives, razors, grenades, and machine guns. We've played some board games today. I'm hungover, and they're keeping me away from my phone. Matt put in an appearance, but we shooed him away after a couple of games of Catan because he has a pregnant wife at home, and she's a good woman. A lot of you asked about Bev and Bev's husband. I can't see Bev on social media, so I contacted Matt and asked if he could find her. He talked to his wife, and his wife is online-only friends with Bev since she's friends with Emily. Matt's wife couldn't find her either. I asked my lawyer about it, and she tried to find Bev but couldn't. So I'm pretty sure that Bev deleted all her social media or set it to extra special private mode. My question to all of you is, how the hell are we all going to get our daily dose of pictures of restaurant food now? We've been robbed, people. We got their credit card records, and I went to my lawyer's office Wednesday afternoon as soon as they called me. Lisa arrived soon after I did. The bills were being charged to John's wedding venue business, so I guess that means Emily is technically his employee? I don't know how this crap works. Are whores contractors? At the beginning, there are charges for hotels and really nice restaurants. There's only one local boutique hotel that's pretty expensive, and they seem to settle on that one mostly. That's the one they were caught at by the PI in the parking lot. The hotels and restaurants start out with one hotel stay every Friday and a couple of expensive restaurant charges every week. The hotel stays lined up with appointments with John and Emily's appointment book. I'm not so naive to think that they only did it in hotels though, so there was probably more. $500 for a couple of hours at the hotel though? John must have been their favorite customer. There was a $1,000 hotel charge on New Year's Eve. I don't know exactly what happened, but what I think happened is that she paid for the hotel as usual with a card. They met at the hotel, then he took her home to his McMansion until after midnight, and finally he took her back to the hotel parking lot. She didn't Uber though. There wasn't a charge for that on the card, so John gave her a lift. Such a gentleman. The thing that destroyed me was a charge for $174.61 at, local name, Adult Superstore, about 3 weeks after she got the card. Before I get called out, the records we got from the credit card company were a lot more detailed than regular credit card statements. So even though the charge was such and such enterprises, it was easy to connect to the Adult Superstore with the records we got from the credit card company. That's right. Early on, my wife and her affair partner went to the friendly neighborhood sex shop together. Magical. $175? Was it a 55-gallon drum of lube? A gross of teensy tiny condoms? After about a couple of months, more and more charges appeared for Saks Fifth Avenue, local boutiques, spa treatments, gas stations, and grocery stores. A good portion were business-related charges for her salon. John paid for our date nights. I guess this is what was meant by handling me. I remember Emily giving me gifts, but they were clothes and shoes, and I'm not a fashion guy, so I didn't know they were expensive. When she gave them to me, she didn't make it out like it was a big deal. It was just, I got you some new shoes and clothes. Try it on for me. And then, ooh, you look so handsome. Aw, shucks, ma'am. This is when she was paying extra attention to me and really engaging with me. God, I felt so lucky and in love with her at the time. I was so gosh darn happy and like an idiot. I looked up my leather loafers online, and they were $500. I had 2 other pairs of shoes from her. Emily had told me that she was doing a lot better in her business and that she could afford to foot some of the bills. Of course, I was overjoyed. So clueless. The charges tapered off in October. In December, the only charges other than the hotel were presumably when she bought Christmas gifts for everyone. There was a charge for a local toy store, the non-adult kind of toy store for a change. All in all, she racked up close to $30,000 on the card. She even paid a few utility bills with it. I mean, who was controlling who here? She was groomed and manipulated by him? It sounds to me like John was a complete sucker for my wife, and she was using the hell out of him. I almost feel sorry for the guy. I guess I really am an oblivious pimp. I am effing done. I am so effing done with this nasty hooker, y'all. You don't even know. Whatever lingering doubts I had are completely gone. Evaporated. I'm done. I'm so gosh darn done. I think I can meet with her now face to face. Now I just feel nothing but loathing for her. So, since there's a gag order on the subpoena, Emily and John aren't going to know we have these records until we blindside them with them either in negotiations or in the discovery process. I was wrong about them being notified. I misrepresented what my attorney said, again. Her goal is to have an early negotiation and blindside Emily and her attorney with what we know. Oh yeah, Emily has an attorney now. Her parents are paying for it. Her mom texted me. When I thought her business was doing awesome, that was just her spending Johnny's money. I have no idea how it is, but if Emily's parents are paying for the attorney, I think either her business is in trouble or she's keeping her success from them. Or maybe she's just a leech. I don't know the woman anymore. The truth will come out when she has to give up her business's financial records during discovery. My attorney is going to try to get Emily and her attorney into her office for an early negotiation towards a settlement, trying to avoid a formal trial. I think I want to be there when Emily is blindsided with the truth. Maybe she'll tell the lawyer her parents paid for that. She had a credit card from her sugar daddy. Yeah, right. When COVID had her business sidelined, she raided our entire emergency fund to keep it afloat. I suppose it was an emergency, but she kept it from me. We had a huge fight about it, and we ended up putting alerts on the vacation fund and emergency fund. FYI, I mentioned this in the comments and earlier posts. This next part is so embarrassing to me now. After reading the card statements and thinking about my wife and the guy she was effing going to an adult superstore together, I just looked at my lawyer and Lisa, who were going over the records too, and cross-referencing things with Lisa's records. I asked them if they thought I was good looking. They were taken aback, and they said yes, that I was good looking. In hindsight, the whole thing was so effing embarrassing. I get chills thinking about asking that. What were they going to say? No, you look totally busted. We can barely stomach being in the same room as you? My lawyer figured out where my head was at and told me that she's been representing tons of divorce cases and the people she's seen cheated on were all different levels of attractiveness. Some would put supermodels to shame. She said she's seen cheaters that are very attractive and she's seen cheaters who she wouldn't touch with a 10-foot pole. She said in all cases, it was all about the cheater and not the cheated. Lisa started tearing up a little. I barely kept it together. I'm so embarrassed thinking about it now. Afterwards, I asked my lawyer if John could maybe sue me for credit card charges since I benefited from them, and she said that even though this is America and anyone can sue anyone else for anything, he'd have a ridiculously small chance of winning in court and no lawyer worth their salt would go after me. Lisa asked if she could sue Emily, but the lawyers shut that down too, saying that Emily was given a card by John, and even though it had her name on it, the person at fault in this case is John, and that all money spent on the affair will be accounted for in Lisa's divorce settlement. Lisa was adamant about hamstringing John totally and completely. There are no alienation of affection laws in our state, unfortunately, so John is safe from me and Emily is safe from Lisa. I told Lisa in a mock serious tone that she's not getting a gosh darn cent out of me, and she and my lawyer laughed. The lawyer said she will be handing over the information to the IRS, with Lisa's permission. Audit ahoy, John! I just want all of this in my rearview mirror so effing badly I can taste it. Congratulations, Emily. You successfully annihilated all lingering affection and concern I had for you. Mission accomplished. I don't give an F what happens to you now. Have you heard about infidelity baseball? I'm experiencing infidelity dodgeball. I went to my office Thursday and Friday for some in-person meetings and to do some pair programming with a new hire for a couple of days to bring him up to speed on our proprietary stuff. The new hires usually work in the office for roughly 2 to 3 months to evaluate them and to work with the team in person before allowing them to go remote. Since he's on my team, I'll have to go in regularly to help out, but mostly I can pair program from home. Friday, yesterday, I got a call from the guard station in the lobby that I had a visitor. I asked them who was visiting me and they said it was my wife. I told them that I wasn't taking visitors today and to tell her to go away. The guard seemed taken aback by that, but said okay. I ate lunch at my desk and the new guy went out to eat. He came back and told me there was a total smoke show waiting for me just outside the building. Some of my colleagues were like, really? I got up to go look. She had apparently seen this ID key card because he's new and wears it on a lanyard around his neck rather than shoving it in his pocket like everyone else. I told him I wasn't interested in seeing her, and he looked at me like I was crazy. I explained that it was my soon-to-be ex-wife. I know he was trying to make friends with the senior guy, and he was a little socially awkward, so I tried to downplay any annoyance I had. He asked me why I'd dump a girl who looked like that, and I explained to him that she cheated on me. He wanted the gory details and all the little groundhogs were popping their heads up above their cubicle walls, and I told him, and them, there's nothing more to say, and it's a very dull and conventional. He asked me who she cheated with, and I said, a business associate. That seemed to satisfy him, and all the little groundhogs went back down behind their cubicle walls. I didn't go down to look at her. The fact that the new guy called her a total smoke show tells me she went full-on glam. After knowing she went sex shopping with John, I was afraid of what I'd do or say. I decided I'd get ahead on some tasks that evening and stayed until midnight, just in case. I left by the back service delivery entrance where the smokers go out to smoke and sneaked to my car with my head snapping around on a swivel like a gosh darn crazy person. Dodged. How the F did she know I was there? Has she been showing up regularly or something? I'm usually not in the building. She's turning into this Colorado River of bat crap, carving out a Grand Canyon of crazy in my gosh darn head. How is that for imagery? I never thought I'd get to this point. I thought I'd always have some kind of affection for her, some kind of pity. But I'm done. I'm completely done. She could tell me she had terminal cancer and I'd feel the same way as if a total stranger had told me. I'm so sorry. I hope you're wrong and it's not terminal. If not, I hope you don't suffer too much. Good luck. Then just go on with my day as normal. I confess that a tiny part of me was thinking that, given distance and time, we might come back together in some peaceful way in the future. That's all shot to hell now. It's astounding to me. I thought at least a small part of me would love her forever, Even the happy memories I have, especially during our wonderful bonding and romantic times that happened during her affair, all are tainted now. She was the love of my life, and I thought it would be forever. Like beyond death even. But here we are. When it comes to Emily, I'm just a black void inside now. I'm angry that I wasted almost half my life and all of my love on a straight-up prostitute. God, what a sucker I am. Mini update. Emily's attorney reached out to my attorney today, and we have scheduled a preliminary negotiation for next Wednesday. My attorney said that I didn't have to be there. I asked her if this is where we blindsided her with the credit card records, and she said yes, so I want to be there. I'm super nervous, though. I figured something out. Jim and Matt usually have some good advice. Bob, not so much. Another mini update and question. My lawyer said that Emily's side reached out and told me that I could ask Emily questions regarding the affair. So, they're not denying the affair and they're planning on negotiating a settlement and not going to court. My lawyer is going to come up with some demands from our side. But in a good faith gesture, I guess, they didn't call it that, they wanted to allow me to give her a list of questions that she would answer truthfully. Like I said in the comments, I enjoy reading science fiction and fantasy as much as the next guy, so I'm wondering what you guys think I should ask. Seriously though, I was going to ask about what happened on New Year's Eve. I think I know, but I want to hear her side. Question update. I've decided to ask her only one question. What happened on New Year's Eve? That's the only question they're going to get. What happened on New Year's Eve? That's really the only thing that has me puzzled. I'm just wondering about the logistics of it all. She left in her car. She arrived at John's place together in his car. Then he took her away in his car. I asked Lisa about it, and she checked the Ring camera footage, and they left around 30 minutes after midnight. She showed up at our home at a little before 1:30 a.m. and did the whole waterworks crying thing. I'm not putting any of these details in the question. I'm only asking literally, what happened on New Year's Eve? Be detailed in your response. I don't think I'm giving up any information from our side by asking that. She already knows I thought she was cheating on New Year's Eve. I'll run it by my attorney Monday, which is the deadline. She told me that she needs to approve any questions beforehand anyway, so we don't give up any potential surprises beforehand. I don't think this will reveal anything new. I'm not asking about the sex shop purchase because that would tell them that we have the credit card records, which they may or may not already know, but we don't want to reveal that either way. Any other question at this point will just get me a lawyer-filtered tapestry of BS. Probably the New Year's Eve question will too. I'm just wondering what their answer will be. If it's, I went to the Bridezilla party and stayed late, then I know I'm just wasting my time looking for answers from this woman, which, let's face it, I probably am. Alright, a community reaction now. Well, now you know, OP, that glimmering of even a fraction of hope you had that maybe it wasn't as bad as you thought it was, is now gone. You can now fully look at her as who she is, and unfortunately, it is of a sugar baby prostitute. She showed up at work and she is likely trying to figure out where you are and see you, because she wants to talk and apologize and say it was a mistake and just to give her another chance, etc. So keep dodging her. Once her attorney gets the files and records and knows what you are seeking, and if her parents are there, they will know the extent of the affair and who their daughter really is. I think the other reason is because when you saw her mother, she told her there is still love for her in you. Well, that was before you knew what and who she really is. As far as you asking the question, OP, if you are attractive, it's okay. Majority of men feel emasculated by this act of betrayal and feel ugly. I know I did. It took a long time for me to feel like myself again. So just know if you can't get a beautiful woman, you can get another one who won't cheat on you. I say all of that to say you are not alone in that feeling. So feel. but know that it's not true. And know you will be better the further down the road you go. The adult superstore charge really got me. $175? Were they buying the deluxe apocalypse survival kit for kinky couples? And the idea of her glamming up just to loiter outside your office? That's commitment to delusion. You weren't an oblivious pimp. You were a husband who believed in his wife. And that's never something to be ashamed of. Ever. Update 9. Lawyers. Just wanted to answer a lot of chats that I got here for everyone to see. No, I'm not a guy who gets off on his wife having sex with another guy, and this is not some kind of erotic fiction. I don't see what's erotic about my posts. Maybe some TMI in my comments. But no, I'm not that kind of guy. I'm the kind of guy who divorces his wife for doing that kind of crap. I do exercise. I had a scholarship in college for being on the diving team. I still swim laps every day that I possibly can. I'm 6 foot tall, exactly. 6 foot 3 inches if I'm standing on all the red flags I've collected lately. I weigh 180 pounds. The reason I'm saying this is to answer the chats that say, I've become a fat, ugly, middle-aged dude who let himself go and his hot wife had no choice but to go outside the marriage. I can't go to my regular club anymore for obvious reasons, but I do have a new gym that doesn't have a pool. I use the neighborhood pool to swim laps now that the weather is warming up. I have been working out lately by lifting at the new gym and hitting the heavy bag in the Airbnb's garage that Jim and I put up with the owner's permission. We'll remove it when I leave. I've also been going for long walks every day. When I walk, it's for an hour at least. I tried to take up running, but my dad said he took up running in his 30s and got to the point where he was running half marathons, but it wrecked his hips and knees. He said I have his crappy genes, so I should not take up running. I like swimming laps more anyway. For those who wrote me saying it's very difficult for a beautiful woman in these modern times because she constantly has guys all over the world trying to pick her up, and these guys are all richer and better looking than me, fine. If that's the case, then she should have just divorced me first and then gone on to bigger and better things. However, one of the things I loved about Emily and that made me secure in the relationship is that her social media presence was all about before and after pictures for her hair and makeup business. She turns bridge trolls into princesses, and she's very good at what she does. She rarely appears in the photos, and when she does, she's fully dressed in regular clothes. All her other social media is friends and family only. On to the update. Last week, Emily's lawyer scheduled a preliminary negotiation with me and my lawyer that took place earlier today. They said that, in the spirit of reconciliation, I could give Emily a list of questions about the affair. My lawyer said that they'd probably filter and curate her answers so she doesn't look guiltier than she already is. But that it's a good sign because they're admitting to the affair and not to the degree of the affair. I decided to only ask one question. What happened on New Year's Eve? Be as detailed as possible. I'm only asking that because she knows that I know she was with John after accusing her that night, and I was just wondering why she left in her car, went to John's house in his car, and then came home at roughly 1:30 a.m. in her car. I know they had a hotel reservation. I just wanted to use this as a litmus test to see if she would tell me the truth, and it's also something I'm just curious about, the logistics of the thing. That's the only question I asked, and my lawyer laughed and said that it's probably not what they were expecting. Any other questions would be either pain shopping on my part or filtered through lawyers to remove all meaning. Since my mother-in-law and Emily were going to be there, I felt like I'd be a coward if I didn't show up. Her lawyer asked permission to bring mother-in-law along because mother-in-law is Emily's emotional support animal, and I said yes. I told my lawyer I wouldn't be talking to them, and she said good, and that I didn't have to show up at all since it was kind of an informal meeting. But if I did show up, that I needed to shut the F up. I went to my general practitioner for some kind of anti-anxiety short-term meds, and he prescribed me 3 pills of Klonopin. He said to take one at most an hour before the meeting and to take one the day before to make sure I was ready for the effects when they happen. I took it and it just made me sleepy. I was just at home at the Airbnb and didn't interact with anything that would make me anxious though. So we had the negotiation day around 10 a.m. I popped the Klonopin about an hour beforehand and Bob drove me to my lawyer's office and waited outside for the circus to end. Angry, anxious me was replaced by floaty me. Floaty me is the coolest. I was wearing the $3,000 suit Emily bought for me with John's money, and the $500 loafers, and the $300 leather belt, plus a $175 white silk shirt. Yeah, me and my buddies looked it all up. Thanks for the gear, John. I pitched in $10 for a nice cotton t-shirt underneath and some $4 boxer briefs. I spoil myself. I was feeling vaguely nauseated on the way to the meeting. I chalked it up to nerves. Floaty me sat there with my lawyer until Emily, mother-in-law, and her lawyer walked in. We introduced ourselves. I said nice to meet you to the lawyer out of reflex, and he smiled like, no you're not. Emily, as expected, looked well put together but tired. She had her hair up in a carefully crafted blonde ponytail and was wearing a very short black dress with a suit jacket. Emily looked at me with a pained expression and doing her fake smile. She was shaking slightly the whole time and taking these deep breaths periodically. She didn't say anything, but she sure looked like she wanted to. Emily's mom was dressed in a nice sundress, and she had done her makeup and hair, or Emily had done it. She smiled at me genuinely and reached for me, but then held back like she realized I was the enemy today. I gave her a little smile and wave. My lawyer said that Emily's lawyer told her they had an offer for me. Emily's lawyer said yes and pulled a piece of paper out of his bag and read off the offer before handing it to my lawyer. Emily will reimburse the full amount of $10,000 to the Joint Marital Emergency Fund, previously withdrawn without my knowledge or consent in 2020 to support her business during COVID. Emily will pay for my legal fees incurred to date and up to the conclusion of the reconciliation period. We will participate in 9 months of individual and couples counseling to be fully paid for by Emily. Selection of licensed professionals shall be mutually agreed upon. During the reconciliation period, cohabitation is encouraged but not mandatory. We agree to maintain respectful communication and allow for flexibility in living arrangements in accordance with our well-being. If, after 9 months, I still want a divorce, I retain the reimbursement emergency fund. Emily waives any claim to spousal support. Emily affirms no interest or legal claim to my dad's residence or related property. All marital liquid assets, example joint checking, savings, investment accounts, household items, and Emily's RRA, shall be divided equitably, excluding my 401k. Personal gifts, inherited property, and premarital assets shall remain separate. We agree to enter into a mutual non-disparagement agreement, ensuring that neither party will make defamatory or damaging statements about the other in public, private, or online forums. Too late for this one, right? I guess I'd have to delete everything, but I think I've changed enough, especially the names, that would give me plausible deniability. In the event of divorce, we agree to proceed under a no-fault basis with mutual consent. No. Floaty Me thought, hey, they want me to reboot the crappiest year of my life and relive it? Great. Then the lawyer handed me an envelope and told me that it was the answered questions from Emily. There was only one question. Floaty Me said thanks and slipped it into my suit pocket. The lawyer said that we'll take the offer under advisement and have an answer for them soon. But first we had some questions we wanted to clear up. Emily's lawyer said that they had some questions to clear up as well. My lawyer deferred to Emily's lawyer and told him to go ahead and ask his questions. Emily's lawyer asked me why I felt the need to put a GPS tracker on Emily's car. I had taken the voice-activated recorder out of the car and left it out when I got the evidence I needed for Emily's affair. I kept the GPS tracker in the car for the PI and didn't have an opportunity to grab it later. It runs out of charge, I think, and I've let the subscription lapse, so the lawyer must have gotten the bright idea to examine Emily's car carefully. My lawyer interjected and said that the car was owned jointly by the both of us, and I was the primary payer of the car note. I was concerned about Emily's well-being due to her unusual behavior, and that any and all evidence we have that will be submitted to the court had been legally obtained. Emily's lawyer acknowledged that, and then asked me why I informed Bev's husband about her involvement with Emily's affair. How did I know that Bev was involved? Emily's lawyer told my lawyer that he'd like to hear it from me. Fortunately, my lawyer coached me about it, and I said that Emily had a history of leaning on Bev for support. When I saw signs something was wrong and noticed how Bev acted around me, I put 2 and 2 together. Her lawyer nodded like, yeah, that's certainly words that came out of your face and weren't coached at all. My lawyer told Emily's lawyer that we would need Emily's business financials as a part of discovery, and he said that they anticipated that and handed over a folder of papers. My lawyer then pulled out a folder of the credit card records and put it on the table and told Emily's side that we know she had a Visa Infinite card in her name that was billed to John's wedding venue business. Emily immediately tensed up and froze, wild-eyed. Emily's mom's head snapped to stare at her. Emily's lawyer cleared his throat loudly and blinked like 700 times. My lawyer started reading off hotel charges and dates and asking why those charges and dates coincided with meetings with John in her appointment book. Emily started shaking and stammering. Her lawyer instructed her to be silent. He said that they were not aware of any credit card and that they were not notified of this evidence. My lawyer told them that they were notified now and handed him another folder with copies of the credit card records. My lawyer then talked about the charges in December that included a toy store and asked if she bought me and her family Christmas gifts with the card. Emily was breathing heavily and had a nice flop sweat forming. Not a good look, Emily. Not a good look at all. Her mom said, "What?" And Emily's lawyer cleared his throat like a magician assistant who knows the trick is about to fail. My lawyer then asked if Emily recognized the clothes I was wearing and could she point out in the card records which charges coincided with them. Emily stood up and looked like she was about to bolt. Her lawyer looked annoyed. My lawyer then asked Emily about the $175 charge at the local name Sex Superstore, and Emily's lawyer sighed heavily and said that he felt that the meeting has stopped being productive. Simultaneously, Emily's mom looked down at the floor and said, "Oh God," and got up and left the room, her hand over her mouth. Knowing my mother-in-law, the "oh God" was more of a prayer than an expletive. God probably replied, "Sorry, I can't answer my phone right now, but if you leave your name, number, and a brief message." At the same time the Sex Superstore was mentioned, Emily started going crazy and saying she can explain. "It's not what I think." Emily's shame has entered the chat. Floating Me just sat there like an ape researcher watching monkeys throw their crap at each other like, "Yep, this is happening. How many eggs do I have left at home? Forgot to count this morning." So I had taken the Klonopin an hour before the meeting on an empty stomach, and my stomach was now filing for divorce too. I hurried over to the small trash can, picked it up, and vomited into it. Not much came out other than the expensive bottled lawyer water I had drank earlier. Afterwards, I sat down casually like, "Nah, I didn't just vomit into a trash can. You're seeing things," while Emily was asking if I was sick and if I was okay. I ignored her. Emily started sobbing and apologizing and asking to speak with me privately, with her lawyer confronted her awkwardly while shushing her and herding her out of the room, taking the folder and a copy of our offer that my lawyer launched at him as he was gathering his stuff. His face was the color of a tomato, Floating Me observed. I was still sitting there after the door shut, and my lawyer grabbed Emily's business records and told me that she was right. It would be a short meeting. Floating Me looked at my lawyer silently for a bit and pointed at the vomit trash can. "Can we make that part of our offer too?" For the first time since I met her, my lawyer started really laughing hard, like stomach-holding laughter. She said she'll mention it. As to our offer, here it is. No spousal support. 1 trash can with maybe 2 cups of watery puke in it. No claim to my father's house, obviously. Emily reimburses to me half the charges of John's credit card, excluding anything that benefited me, which would be around $15,000. No access to my investments or retirement. Emily gives my lawyer a signed affidavit witness testimony stating that John knew she was married, actively encouraged the affair, tried to influence her decision, including what to tell me, and that he exploited her emotionally. I assumed it's for Lisa's divorce. Mutual non-disparagement agreement. It's an at-fault divorce, with Emily's adultery being a matter of record. As to why we're asking for half the credit card charges, Emily didn't just have an affair, she used another man's money to finance a fantasy marriage with me. She bought me gifts, paid our bills, covered up her affair by playing the role of the generous, successful spouse, while the guy she was sleeping with footed the bill. I didn't consent to that. That money wasn't just financial deception, it was emotional and sexual manipulation. She used it to control the narrative, keeping me off the scent, and make herself look like the ideal wife while she was cheating. So no, we're not saying John owes me anything. We're saying Emily does because she used that money as a tool of fraud inside the marriage. The issue isn't who paid the card bill, it's who weaponized the money to destroy the marriage and who got played. As to what Emily said happened on New Year's Eve, it was something I couldn't have guessed. Emily said she actually did go to the Bridezilla get-together in order to make an appearance. She was invited but not required to be there like she told me. She met John there because it was John who introduced her to the Bridezilla and got her that gig. John had a business relationship with Bridezilla's dad and was invited as well. John and Emily left the venue separately but met in the parking lot, and John gave Emily a ride to the hotel because she had been drinking. Instead of going to the hotel though, John insisted they go to his home instead, despite her protests. She didn't want to antagonize him, so she went along with it, but complained the whole time about getting out of there by 11:30. They went to his place. He FaceTimed his wife. They had very unsatisfying sex in his marital bed, her words, and she drove him back to the venue where the New Year's Eve Bridezilla family get-together was, which was empty by that time. She drove home, having sobered up some. Nauseating, but that's what I needed to hear. I had assumed they went to the hotel, had sex, and then again at his place. Turns out they skipped the hotel entirely. He drove her straight to his house under the guise of needing to FaceTime his wife at midnight, and to defile their marital bed. Romantic, right? At least she didn't enjoy herself though, right? Right? That makes all the difference. Is it the truth? I don't know. She could tell me the sky is blue and I would still Google it. After reading it, I gave it to my lawyer and told her she could use it in Lisa's divorce from John if she wanted to. I don't know the legalities of the situation. So we're now in a holding pattern until they come back with anything regarding our offer or a new offer. If you need me, I'll be throwing up in a monogrammed trash can. Divorce is glamorous like that. Update. Just got off the phone with mother-in-law. Their lawyer has dumped them. Surprise, surprise. Their lawyer was basically a friend of a family friend who was giving them a good deal. They were trying for reconciliation. Emily was not forthcoming about how deep in it she was. Mother-in-law said that before our meeting yesterday, she Jess knew that it wasn't over between Emily and I, and that Emily was tricked and coerced by a big bad wolf into doing bad things she'd never do normally. After the meeting, she said the lawyer was kind of cold towards them and said that when they talked to their next lawyer, they need to tell him everything. He then dropped them as clients. Adultery subreddit pro tip: tell your lawyer everything. They do not give an F if you are a piece of crap as long as your money is legal currency. If they are a good person and you are a piece of crap, they will either not take you on or arrange a legal way to face the consequences with as little negative impact as possible. Emily tried texting me and making lame excuses. She said that early on in their relationship, John sent her to a sex store as an errand to pick up a sex toy. She wasn't specific about it, and I'm no contact with her, so I didn't ask. She loves me. We have plans. Can I forgive her? I finally broke silence and told her to direct all communication through my attorney and blocked her latest number. Mother-in-law said she looked at the credit card statements and asked Emily about them, but Emily was just sobbing and crying and said she didn't want to talk about it. Mother-in-law said she can't even look at her and asked me, "Who is this person?" I told her that she's still her daughter, and I think we both know that she's struggling right now and she really needs to keep a close eye on her. Mother-in-law said that Emily cried late into the early morning and passed out finally. She said that father-in-law was crap-talking me for breaking this little girl's heart. Mother-in-law defended me but didn't tell father-in-law the truth about his daughter being a sugar baby. She says she doesn't know how to have that conversation with him because it will crush him. I told her that she and her daughter need to get into therapy and maybe even see a medical professional. Then take father-in-law to the therapist with them and talk about it there. She says they've been talking to a Christian counselor. I asked her if he has training or does he just read from the Bible, and she said he has training. I told her to go see someone who has access to a prescription pad too. My lawyer told me that if I spoke to anyone from Emily's side, to encourage her to write in an affidavit about John. I told my lawyer that it's kind of cold to try to get me to help her in Lisa's divorce right now, but my lawyer said the affidavit could help me too. So I told Emily's mom that if Emily wants to get back at John, that she needs to write the affidavit so that Lisa can anal rape John in her divorce. So I guess we're pretty much stuck until they can find a new lawyer. It must have been cathartic to have everything laid out like that, seeing the truth on the table, even if it's incredibly painful. It makes sense why the offer isn't sitting well with you. It's not just about the money. It's about the emotional toll she's caused, the lies, and how she used you. You deserve to have your voice heard and not be manipulated anymore. What would you do if you found out someone you trusted was lying and manipulating you emotionally and financially? Has this ever happened to you? Share your stories with us in the comments below. Update 10. Emily's backyard cookout. So right off the bat, Emily's fine. She's at home resting. She's not a foaming at the mouth insane person who's drugged in a mental health facility. She didn't try to kill herself. She basically pulled a poison gas attack on her old neighborhood, but other than that, we're all good. I was reading at the Airbnb on Sunday around 6 p.m. when I get a call from my dad in Florida. He said that her old neighbors called him and they thought there was an electrical fire at the house, but they saw Emily burning things on her outdoor grill in the backyard. I called up Emily's mom and told her what was going on, and she thought Emily was in her room. Apparently that whole family has been avoiding each other lately, so they didn't notice her slip out and drive off. I told them that Emily was at her old house burning things on the backyard grill. It's a big built-in thing, and that the neighbors were complaining. They said they'd come. I decided to go over there myself and called the police, the non-emergency number, and told them that we had a small accident in the backyard, but everything's okay and we have it under control. I didn't want Emily arrested for her family's sake. She's already costing them a lot of money. I don't need to add jailbird to everything they're going through. As to how she got in, yes, we evicted her, but the locks hadn't been changed. I thought my dad was going to arrange that, and my dad thought I was going to do it. I've since changed the locks myself. It's not difficult unless you have to rehang the door. Then it's a son of a bitch. I got there before Emily's parents, and the smell was awful. It was this sharp chemical smell, and it was no surprise people thought it was an electrical fire. I ran into the kitchen and got the fire extinguisher from under the sink and scared the crap out of Emily by rushing out, shouting at her to get the F out of the way, and blasting the barbecue grill thoroughly with the extinguisher. She just stood there surprised to see me, like setting a fire summoned me like Smokey the Bear. She was in the process of burning her designer wardrobe, her bags, a bunch of lingerie outfits, shoes, makeup, etc. Adultery subreddit pro tip: burning stuff that's not wood or fire gives off chemical gas that will choke the crap out of you. The grill smelled like a department store perfume counter had gotten into a fist fight with a tire fire. Thanks, Emily. There was stuff piled up next to the grill in expensive boutique shopping bags. I shudder to think what kind of super fun sight my backyard would turn into if she burned all of that crap. I goon-handed her around the side of the house to the front yard to escape the poison. I asked her what in the holy hell she was thinking trying to burn my house down. It occurred to me right then that this was the first time we'd been alone together since the day I had her served. She was a mess. No makeup, dark circles under her eyes, hair up in a messy bun with one of those comically gigantic hair clips, and dressed in sweats. Non-designer sweats. Walmart sweats. What will the neighbors think, Emily? She rushed forward and got me in a hug, and I just stood there with my hands to my side looking away. After she got it out of her system, she told me she was cleaning house and getting rid of everything he touched. Get rid of yourself, Emily. She said she was trying to make things right. I told her domestic terrorism is not going to get me into reconciliation. She asked me what she could do, and she'd do anything. I told her that it's not fair for her to deliberately smash our marriage into pieces and then expect me to fix it, and that I couldn't even if I wanted to. I told her that she sacrificed our marriage for her business and that it would be a slap in the face to me personally if she let it go belly up, so she needs to go back to work. I don't know if that registered with her. I really hope it did. She kept apologizing and pleading and asking me to give her a chance and that I won't have to do anything. She'll fix our marriage and she'll do all the work necessary. I was giving her non-committal answers like, sounds good, we'll see, and I don't know about that, to keep her from doing anything else crazy. I'm effing full up on crazy now. Father-in-law and mother-in-law arrived and we all had a nice chat about fire safety. Apparently, father-in-law had found the credit card records and asked mother-in-law about it, and mother-in-law came clean. Mother-in-law and father-in-law had a big fight, and now the three of them are avoiding each other. Not my dumpster, not my fire. I told Emily she could help make amends through helping the woman whose marriage she destroyed by writing the affidavit. She said she would. Father-in-law told me he would pay for the grill and any cleanup. I'm thinking, gosh dang right you will, but I thanked him for his generosity. A police officer showed up, and he and his partner took a look around. He told me that the grill was pretty much a goner, you think? And that we needed to break up our little terrorist cell for the evening. Emily and her parents went home while she was swearing to make it all right. I just told her not to burn anything else, please, and to go back to work. Fortunately, the poison gas from the grill didn't hit the house. I hosed down everything because the police officer told me that the fire extinguisher chemicals were corrosive. Really? What the F? I grabbed the rest of Emily's stuff from the backyard and drove it to a thrift store after-hours donation box and dumped it all in. So if you see a homeless woman with a Prada bag dressed in a garter belt and stockings, you're welcome. The other notable thing that happened is that my lawyer says that Emily's business is doing pretty well. She started turning a significant profit last August and September, so Emily can now afford all the psychiatric medicine she can stuff in her mouth. I didn't expect to be updating so soon, but I also didn't expect Emily to torture Lacey's sins like some kind of dollar store Medea either, so here we are. Thank you for joining us today on rSpace. Be sure to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on our next video. See you next time.